There's a report that James Franklin is on the hot seat at Penn State, and he's got to win a national championship this season or he's out. Yeah, right. Lockdown Big Ten starts right now.
You are Locked On Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman. Of course, 40 years as a sports talk show host and play-by-play announcer. And I want to thank you for checking us out, making us your first listen each and every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hit that free subscribe button down below while you're at it. That'll do us a great favor. Thank you very much. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKDOWNCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Penn State, James Franklin, hot seat? We'll see about that. I'm going to refute it all, actually. Sherron Moore, again, coming up big on signing day, and Big Ten Classics and live action coming up this weekend. But first, we're going into year 12 for James Franklin, and apparently he's on the hot seat if he doesn't win a national championship this season. That, according to Tom Hannafin from the State of the State, who covers Penn State athletics. He's going on other shows, and other outlets are picking this up and writing about it, spewing it as fact. It says championship or bust. That's what he says. Now, I'm going to pour cold water on all of this right here. In fact, if you want, go back to all of my Locked On Big Ten podcasts from last year, where I refuted claims that Ryan Day was on the hot seat, especially if he lost to Michigan, which he did, by the way. And of course, he's still there, won the national championship. Just remove all the times I said Ryan Day and Ohio State last year and replace it with James Franklin and Penn State. Boom. There you go. He's not going anywhere unless he wants to. The guy wins a lot of games. He has a ridiculously high winning percentage. With the exception of wide receiver, he's a great recruiter. Got to get a wide receiver. Come on. And he brings in and cranks out NFL talent as much as anybody else. He gets his team into bowl games and postseason. And now with the expanded college football playoffs, he gets into the playoffs. In fact, if the current 12-team format had existed over the last decade, no other coach and no other team, no other program would have benefited more than James Franklin and Penn State. They would have been a regular in the 12-team playoff. But we just started it this year. He took advantage of it. He's there. And not only did he get into the playoffs this year, they made it to the Final Four. Remember, we used to only have 4 teams. He got to the Final Four, if you will, and came within a field goal of making it to the championship game and making it an all Big Ten affair against Ryan Day and Ohio State. They lost the game to Notre Dame. So, just to see how things have come full circle with comparisons between Ryan Day and James Franklin, right? James Franklin, he's not getting fired this season if he fails to win a natty, period. Full stop. Again, his career does parallel a lot with Ryan Day. Maybe he'll win the national championship this year and we put all this nonsense aside. But that doesn't mean that James Franklin and Penn State are not expected to make a run at a national championship. These are two different things. Yeah, they're expected to win it all. They are. But hot seat, lose your job, national championship or bust, get out of here with that stuff. I mean, the pressure's real. The expectations are real. We'll see where the chips fall. But, they just did a lot of things here at Penn State. First of all, they just reset the market with defensive coordinators when they gave defensive coordinator Jim Knowles almost $10 million over 3 years in order to steal him from national champion Ohio State. Coming to think of it, I don't know which is more of a statement, the fact that they gave him over $3 million a year or the fact that a coordinator got a 3-year deal. It's pretty rare air, if you will. Either way, Penn State's making a statement. Penn State's all in. Absolutely all in. Plus, there's a lot of experience coming back this year. It's going to be a good team no matter what happens. Like always, Penn State always puts a good team out, no matter what happens in the postseason. We got Drew Aller coming back at quarterback. Although, Aller's going to have to finish the season stronger than he did this past season. I thought his passing left something to be desired in the Notre Dame semifinal game. And look, His deal, Drew Aller, a lot of talent, good athlete, does a great job taking care of the football, does not put his team in a bad spot. If I were a Penn State fan and maybe a coach or a support, I would like to see him and Andy Kotelnicki maybe take a few more chances, get a little more risky, slinging it around there. There are very few things to complain about with Ohio State and their offense this past year. They produced. I think they could do a little more with Drew Aller. And maybe we'll find out he doesn't have the ability to do it. Maybe he does. He came back to school for another year, trying to keep working on that resume to get ready for the NFL. He did not go into the NFL this year because, again, he's got some things to work on. I mean, we all saw it. I was aghast to see a couple of those wobbly ducks that he threw into the Notre Dame defense in the playoffs. He's definitely got to be better there. Definitely. But he'll have some help again. And for the fourth straight year, the Nittany Lions will have that sturdy run game with their dynamic dual running backs, Nick Singleton and Katron Allen. They're phenomenal. Quarterback's best friend. No question about that. They still need wide receiver one. They got to get themselves a wide receiver to stretch these defenses and help everybody out. Franklin has never had that. And Ty Warren, he'll have to be replaced at tight end. I loved watching that kid play this year. Their offensive line, their defensive line, be solid. They always are. You never have to worry about those things. You've been at this for over a decade. It's just kind of next man up there at Penn State. And I don't worry about their defense at all. Now, especially with Jim Knowles there, probably even get better as he's running the show now. Heck, even Ryan Day, calling him the best defensive coordinator in the game. He's walking out the door out of Columbus, heading to Happy Valley. So everything's in place. And it has been for a few, at a very high level for a few years. Just knocking on the door of trying to get to the top. And they went further this year than they ever have before. So I put this pressure on him to win it all or bust or get fired. It's nonsense. Forget about it. So I do understand that there is some, we call it Franklin fatigue, right? There's a lot of people like, yeah, he's great. We win 10 games a year. Can't win a championship. All right. At some point, let's move on. There's a faction of people out there that are like that. They're same as the lunatic fringe at Ohio State that Kirk Herbstreit, those are his words, not mine. There are always those people out there. But all in all, things are pretty good at Penn State. The prospect of firing Franklin, if he comes up short of a national championship, it would be expensive to get rid of him. In 2021, he signed a 10-year, $85 million extension. His current buyout is $57 million. Look, it's been done before. Just see Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M. But times are quickly changing here in college football. And there's some belt tightening going on here. Yeah, I know. Everybody's making money. Everybody's got these TV deals. I get it. There's money flowing everywhere. But also Penn State's in the middle of a $700 million renovation at Beaver Stadium. And the school, like other schools, is carving out an extra $20 million a year for revenue sharing. That starts now. It's a lot of money. I think teams and athletic departments are going to be a little slower to just peel out all that money for these big buyouts. They won't do it as quickly as they have been in the past. All that aside, as sure as I'm sitting here, win or lose, James Franklin's going to be the head coach of Penn State beyond 2025, unless he chooses to leave for another challenge. All right? Comments. You agree with me? Disagree with me? Let me know. Whatever you do, be sure to hit that subscribe button, please, and follow Locked On Big Ten for free wherever you get your podcast. That way you get the latest episode of this podcast as soon as it becomes available each and every day. And if you don't mind, share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten. And don't forget to check out our website, talkbig10.com. And that's the number 10, talkbig10.com. All of our podcasts are there. And if you want, you can buy merchandise from Penn State, shirts, t-shirts, hats, all right there at our website. All right. Signing day, it arrived, and kudos to Michigan. They land a big one. I tell you, Sherron Moore is doing a great job. We're going to talk about that and a little bit of hoops as well. Plus, we'll have our Big Ten Classics. It's all coming up in 1 minute right here. Don't go anywhere on Locked On Big Ten. You need tickets if you want to go to an event, sporting event, concert, comedy show. Get your tickets with Game Time. Whatever the big event is, make your memories with your friends. Go there, be there. But you need tickets. Get them through Game Time. Download the app on your phone or your device. Getting tickets has never been easier. So here's how it works. You got Game Time Picks. It's an app, does all the hard work for you, curates the best deals, and you don't have to waste any time searching through endless ticket listings. And the thing I always like, they got their super deals for a prime seat and also the seat view, a picture of you of the seat from the seat of the ticket you're about to buy. And the best part, you're covered with the Game Time lowest price guarantee. If you find a better deal anywhere else, they'll refund you 110% of the difference. Plus, your tickets are guaranteed to be delivered on time with easy cancellation options. If something comes up, life happens, right? So ready to go to your next event? Do it in style. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Thanks for making Locked On Big Ten your first listen each and every day, especially you everydayers out there. Meanwhile, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Thank you very much. And share and follow and like Locked On Big Ten, your team every day. And check out our website, talkbig10.com, for podcasts and merchandise. All right. Michigan got its man. Now he's a Michigan man. They did it again. 5-star offensive tackle Ty Haywood. He was the top unsigned player in the country for the class of 2025. And he announced on Wednesday morning he's going to Michigan. So this is, Sherron Moore got the best player available in early signing period with Bryce Underwood. He got the best player available here in this signing period. 5 stars all across the board, right? He's a former Alabama commit. And he decided, even though he gave a verbal commit to Alabama in the summertime, he never signed when signing day came in December, came and went. And so he was out there, and Michigan jumped on it. So this caps off a stellar recruiting class for Sherron Moore. Haywood, he's 6'5", he's 285 pounds. He hails from Denton, Texas, and now he'll be singing Hail to the Victors. And he was also considering Florida State and Texas Tech a little closer to home. And again, this is the second time that Sherron Moore's done this. And, December, he flipped the number one player in the country. Not the number one quarterback, the number one player in the country, and 5-star quarterback Bryce Underwood flipped him from LSU at the last second, along with, $12 million in name, image, and likeness money. That'll always help a little bit too. And then now during this late or traditional signing period, he lands Haywood, who was the best available player in the country for this go-around. Overall, he was the class of 2025's third-ranked offensive tackle and 16th highest-ranked player in the country. But waited till now to sign. He's going to Michigan. Overall, the Wolverines signed 11 top 300 recruits from 2025, including 8 of the top 100. Killer deal. Great job by Sherron Moore. And, it didn't start out that way. Sherron Moore in Michigan got off to kind of a slow start with this recruiting class. Back in October, they only had four blue chippers committed to Michigan. And look, you can't underestimate the role that getting Bryce Underwood to flip from LSU had on all this. You can bring in a number one quarterback like that. Other guys are going to want to gravitate to that and play with a guy like that because they know they're going to win. And, you can have money and location and sunshine and big crowds and all that. But at the end, guys want to win football games. That's never going to change. So it's a strong close for Sherron Moore. This is his first full recruiting cycle as a head coach at Michigan since he took over for Jim Harbaugh. So with the strong finish, they're up there. Yesterday on our podcast, we listed 24/7's top 10 power rankings for recruiting classes across the country. It's worth another look real quick. Texas 1, Georgia 2. Ohio State right there at number 3. Remember Tavian St. Clair. They got their own 5-star quarterback there. Alabama 4. Oregon rounding out the top 5. Dan Lanning, another solid class coming in. Auburn at 6. And then Michigan is ranked 7th. Again, with Bryce Underwood. And, of course, the announcement this week that Haywood is coming as well. So just squarely right in there, up into the top 10 for Michigan with their ranking class. Florida 8, Texas A&M 9, LSU 10, in case you're curious about all that. In other Big Ten recruiting news, and this one did not get a lot of headlines, but it harkens back to my day with the player that I used to watch back in the day. Hall of Famer quarterback Warren Moon. Remember him at Washington? His son Ryken going to follow his father's footsteps and commit to his dad's alma mater. He's going to Washington, the Washington Huskies. He's going to be a preferred walk-on for Jed Fish's team. So he's not, he's not what his dad was. In fact, he's 5'11", 200 pounds. And I think he's 4 or 5 inches shorter and 200 pounds smaller than his dad was. But he's a two-way player from Seattle. He's a good player. And, I always remember Warren Moon, because remember, Washington was not obviously in the Big Ten. They were a Pac-10 school back when I was growing up and taking on Michigan in the Rose Bowl. Of course, I was rooting for Michigan. Warren Moon was fabulous that day. Huskies won 27-20 in the 1978 Rose Bowl. I remember it. Now, the younger Moon, in a 2023 playoff game, rushed for 119 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he also intercepted 3 passes in a 49-7 win. Again, both sides of the ball. He did have offers from Army and Air Force in Arizona and Nevada. Penn State was interested in him, and also Rice. But, going to go to Washington. That'll be cool. See if he develops a little bit. On to hoops real quick. Following Tuesday night's Michigan State loss at UCLA, got beat by a bucket. It's 2 losses in a row for Sparty, and Tom Izzo is still stuck at 1 win away from matching Bob Knight's all-time Big Ten wins record. The Spartans' next chance will be at home on Saturday when they host Oregon, and Michigan State's game after the Ducks roll into town is going to be against Indiana. So Izzo could either tie or break Bob Knight's record against Knight's former school, Indiana. Keep an eye out on that. But you know what? Look, Michigan State won 13 in a row. They go out west. That's tough. It's tough going out west. Had trouble with USC and UCLA. By the way, quick note on UCLA. They're the hottest team in the Big Ten right now. They've won 6 in a row. And this streak came after their head coach, Mick Cronin. Remember, he went public, scorched earth on his team, called him soft in public in the press conference. Really mad at him. Must have worked. They're red hot right now. They've won every game since. We'll see if it works for Mike Woodson in Indiana. He kind of said the same thing about the Hoosiers, who struggled again. Man, tough start against Wisconsin. What was it, 19-2 out of the box? So they're not playing very well. They've dropped 4 in a row. They were down 19-2 with 4.5 minutes ago, and 26-4 7 minutes into the game. It's just a horrible game by the Hoosiers. And so Mike Woodson came out afterward and said that his team is they're soft. He criticized everybody's defense, as he should, especially his bigs. They're running out of time, running out of games. They got to get it turned around. Speaking of hoops, tonight, Thursday night, men's 18th ranked Maryland at Ohio State, 7 p.m. FS1. Tonight, a good slate of women's games. Rutgers is at Indiana, 6 p.m. Eastern on the Big Ten Network. Northwestern is at Illinois, 7 p.m. Big Ten Plus. Michigan is at Nebraska. That's at 8 o'clock Eastern time on Game on Peacock. Iowa's at Minnesota. That's at 8 p.m. on the Big Ten Network. And 16th ranked Maryland is at Oregon. That's 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific, FS1 tonight. Check it out. All right. A couple things I want to do here. We always do certain features at the end of our podcast. If you're new, we're getting so many new people every day. Thank you very much for that. At the end of Monday's podcast, we always do my top 10 Big Ten observations from the weekend. Tuesdays, we do Tuesday tweets. Hit us up on Twitter at Talk Big Ten, X, if you want to call it. We pull tweets from there all the time, put them up, makes a great segment. Wednesdays, we like to power rank things, as we alluded to a minute ago. Thursdays, we look at the Big Ten Network, their schedule of Big Ten Classics and live action. We are not affiliated with the Big Ten Network. We obviously have a lot of the same interests, so I'm going to highlight the schedule of what you can watch on the Big Ten Network this weekend around the Super Bowl. I know you're going to watch that. So we'll put that out there. And then Friday, we make our picks, by the way. Basketball, football, whatever season it is, we make our picks. We go on the record. We're not afraid of that here. So take a look at Big Ten Classics and live action. That's coming up in 1 minute right here on Locked On Big Ten. PrizePicks. This is fun. This is great. No better way to make it even more exciting watching games than with PrizePicks, and the best place for daily fantasy sports. Over 10 million members and billions in winnings awarded. PrizePicks makes it fun and simple to get into the action. Here's how it works. You pick some players, as few as 2, want some more, and then you say more than or less than with some stats, some projected stats for an upcoming game. Put them all together, and you can win up to 1,000 times your cash. PrizePicks even has a free pick for the big game where Patrick Mahomes only needs to throw 1 yard to win. That's happening. So pair that with one more correct pick, and you're cashing out. It's that simple. So check it out. Check out the promos tab, and you can tail any of the super sweet Millie winners, the big game lineups. If you tail a lineup that goes 3 for 3, you can win a split of $1 million in promo funds. Boom. All right. So download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONCollege for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. All right, let's do this. Let's take a look at the upcoming weekend. Big super weekend, right? We'll have our Big Ten Classics in live action. I'm going to put them on the screen here. If you are audio only, I'll describe it in detail so you don't feel left out. Friday, February 7th. These are all Eastern times, 5:30. You know, Friday on the Big Ten Network, big on wrestling. So they got their Big Ten Live wrestling pregame. And it's 6 o'clock Eastern, wrestling Michigan at Penn State. That Penn State wrestling's a big deal. So is Iowa. They're hosting Nebraska at 8 o'clock Eastern. And then at 10 o'clock Eastern, more Big Ten wrestling, Purdue at Wisconsin. Then we go to Saturday, February 8th. We'll pick it up at noon. We just highlight a few things. We don't put everything on there. But they got an Indiana basketball classic, Indiana at Michigan, from March of 2013. If you don't remember, that's when Cody Zeller scored 25 points to help lead the second-ranked Hoosiers to a 1-point victory over seventh-ranked Michigan for their first outright Big Ten regular season championship in 2 decades. How about that? At 3:30, the Big Ten Live Basketball Tip-Off Show. And they'll get you ready for all the Big Ten action with lots of pregame breakdowns and updates and live campus look-ins. And then here's their basketball slate for the rest of the day. Pick it up at 4 o'clock. Men's basketball, Penn State at UCLA. I just told you how UCLA is the hottest team of the Big Ten right now, just on fire in their last 6 games. As we continue at 6 o'clock Eastern, we got Illinois at Minnesota. And then we flip it over to hockey at 8 o'clock, Michigan State versus Michigan. That's always a big draw. A lot of interest in that game. And at 10:30 Eastern time, more men's basketball, Northwestern at Washington out on the West Coast. That'll be 7:30 Pacific if you want to watch that on Big Ten Network out west. And then on Sunday, we pick up the action here. 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, their Big Ten Live Basketball Tip-Off Show. Again, all the look-ins and news and notes and highlights from the night before, too. Plus, at noon, they'll go to the Rutgers Maryland men's game. And then another one, doubleheader, Ohio State at Nebraska at 2 o'clock Eastern. And then at 4 o'clock, their Big Ten Live Basketball pregame show. And just kind of wrap things up, as a matter of fact. And then we're gonna cut it off there at 4 o'clock, because after that, I know it, you know it. You're gonna be locked into pregame for Super Bowl and all that stuff on Fox. So I'll be watching it too. That'll be great. So that's everything that's going on the Big Ten Network that you need to know about. And in the meantime, we'll keep you up to date on everything, all things Big Ten. Tell your friends about us. We're here each and every day. Now, here's what we are. Here's how we are unique here at Locked On Big Ten. First of all, we're every day. All the Big Ten news with breaking news, all right here. But in addition to the news and the cold hard facts, we are not afraid to give you opinion, and we give you analysis. In addition to the stories, we're not just cranking out stories here. We tell you what we think, analyze the situation. That makes us unique. It's all under one umbrella. So tell your friends about us. If you have friends that love Big Ten sports, or maybe they're alum of certain school in the Big Ten, let them know we're out here every day. People are discovering us every single day. I appreciate you joining me today. Thank you very much. And I can't wait until we talk again tomorrow. In the meantime, don't forget Twitter or X at TalkBig10 the website, TalkBig10 10.com. And before you go, hit that subscribe button and follow this podcast right now on your favorite podcast app, and to get the latest episode of Lockdown Big Ten as soon as it becomes available each and every day. Thanks for checking us out. Can't wait till we talk again tomorrow for Lockdown Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman. Talk to you next time.